everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to see your beautiful faces again. I really needed a little bit of a YouTube vacation, you guys. Like, I was pumping out videos like crazy, and I figured with both shows being off air, now is like the best time to take like a week or two off of YouTube and be like perfectly refreshed in time to consistently review the new season of Teen Mom OG, which starts next week. So I am really happy to be back with you guys. So last Monday, MTV kind of led us into the season premiere of Teen Mom OG by giving one of its quote-unquote stars, Matt Baer, his own being special. And I just cannot say enough how disappointed I am with this decision, but they did give him his own show nonetheless. So let's jump into a review of the 1 hour shit show. The whole thing starts off with Matt just, you know, around the house talking about he's a regular guy who wants to live a regular life. Like, it is absolutely regular for a person to spray kids all over a country and abandon them, and then, you know, have a person commit suicide allegedly because they sexually assaulted them, right? So he's doing a few errands, and then he rolls up to Amber's house in her Cadillac Escalade, and he starts cooking her breakfast in her kitchen using her damn ingredients and her utensils, as he talks about like how he allegedly raised 2 out of his 25, 26, 27, 42 kids, Brooklyn and Andrew, and that he's excited to invite them over to Amber's house. The producer presses Matt on why he's so excited about his kids coming. It's like, Matt, you're a dad, right? Don't you see these kids like usually as a father? Why are you so excited? Like it's Christmas or something. And he was like, well, this is the first time that they're coming to this house that I scammed my way into. And I'm just so excited to have them over. And it's like, how convenient is it that the first time these kids are gonna get to see you at your sugar mama's house is when MTV is filming a special? Like, have you guys not been in this home for like 2 years now? Remind me again how you're a really involved father. And then things get even more strange when he starts talking about how some of his kids have never met each other and somehow are like idolizing each other despite not really knowing too much about each other. And then he also goes on and says that he prays that they show up to the house. And I was like, I mean, if my mom or dad calls me to invite me over to their house, they know like my ass is gonna show up with some Tupperware ready to bring food back over to my apartment, right? They don't have to hope and pray that I actually show up. And that's because, you know, I've had my parents my whole life. They didn't disappear on me. So I feel like he keeps trying to, like in talking heads and stuff, drive home the fact that he's been there for his kids, but his insecurities and the random little things he says prove that he actually has not been there for him, and he's really hoping that they're gonna come through for him this one time that he actually does want to see them, and the cameras just so happen to be rolling. Don't you just assume that someone who likes being around you is gonna come to wherever the hell you invite them, especially if you're offering free food? So anyway, he takes one of his fellow older, you know, male friends out to an instrument shop where he kind of brags about all the stuff that his sugar mama's buying him. Drums, guitars, you name it. And he rolls up in a Corvette that Amber was actually stupid enough to buy him. You guys, this whole sugar baby gig is looking hella sweet, pun intended. You don't have to be attractive, fit, or young to participate anymore. Look at this. A lot of things really stuck out to me about the way that Matt spoke about his kids. He pretty much blamed his absence from their lives and like their subsequent problems on them. It was so odd. Like, nothing was Matt's fault. Everything was his kid's fault. His oldest son, Chris, particularly, was like the #1 target for all of his attacks. Like, he tells his friend, oh, like, I've always tried reaching out to Chris after being absent most of his life, but he never ever gets back in contact with me. I wonder why. Unless it's for rent. Like, he only reaches out to me when it has to do with money. If my dad ditched me my whole entire life, you are damn right I would never talk to him unless it had to do with something I wanted. It's like, you ditched me my whole entire life. Like, you just owe me everything in the world. Pay my rent, pay my light bill, pay my cell phone bill, pay for my shoes, pay for my makeup, pay for it all. Do you really think you're gonna be the only one coming up off of Teen Mom? I think the fuck not. And he speaks like the money that he gives Chris even comes from his unemployed broke ass. Like, Matt, we all know this money is coming from your sugar mama who's young enough to be your daughter, Amber. We are not stupid. We know you are broke. You stocked all these teen mom girls for years before you landed a sucker. In the next scene, Matt drives back over in Amber's car to Amber's house, and the two of them sit down on her furniture and discuss whether or not his kids will humor him by showing up, you know, for the weekend that he has planned with them for the cameras, and whether or not Leah will get along with these, you know, potential siblings. And Amber gets really teary-eyed and emotional talking about Matt. She's like, he used to be a piece of shit, but he's not anymore. He takes care of me. Takes care of you, Amber? With what? EBT cards? Obama phones? Huh? Coupons? With what? This broke-ass man is not taking care of shit, girl. But she tries to convince us that Matt, the same Matt who was evicted from his apartment and leached off of her, like from the day he met her, bought her a Corvette. Really, girl? Really? And speaking of, the fact that Amber lets us know that the two of them have a joint bank account. Oh my god, I wanted to like peel my skin off and eat it at that point. Like, are you serious? You let this guy slick talk his way into your bank account? A shared bank account? Ugh. Like, I am so frustrated for this girl. Like, she literally has everything in the world to live a good life and like clean herself up, and this is what she decided to do? Really? So at a certain point, they decide to invite Matt's oldest son Chris to the barbecue, and Matt decides to call him on camera and is obviously sent to voicemail. And they kind of discuss like how Chris doesn't really like getting in touch with Matt or anything like that. And literally like a minute later, he calls Amber instead, and Matt kind of like yells over like, hey Chris, I tried to call you. And Chris was like, you know, sometimes gotta text first. Things happen with my phone. Don't know what's wrong with it. And then Matt was like, you know what? That's okay, Chris. We're just gonna send you, you know, we being Amber, some money for your cell phone bill, a couple $100s. And Amber is visibly pissed off by this. And I would be too. First of all, I am supporting a man twice my age, and now I'm gonna support his son who is older than me, bitch. What has my life come down to? You could just see it all over Amber's face. Like, what have I decided to do with my life? Like, why am I here? And the two of them talk about Matt inviting Chris over to the house for the weekend to see his step siblings or half siblings. I don't know how this stuff works. And Chris is kind of like, yeah, maybe, I guess, like kind of tentatively agreeing to go. And then they get off the phone, and Amber confronts Matt about offering Chris money all willy-nilly, hundreds of dollars. Matt kind of like slick talks his way out of it as usual, and he pretty much all but admits that the reason he offered Chris money was kind of to, you know, incentivize him to come down to the house for the weekend and make him look like a good father for MTV. And a few scenes go by, you guys, like Matt is having so much anxiety about whether or not his kids will actually show up to his house. And there's nothing paternal about it at all to me. Honestly, to me, like his anxiety about whether or not his kids would want to see him or come to you know, his house reminded me of like celebrities on Celebrity Apprentice when they call their friends to ask them for money and they're just pacing around all anxious about whether or not these people will come through for them. Like, there's nothing paternal about this shit whatsoever. The whole episode just kept getting worse and worse. I was like, Matt, not all fame is good fame. Like, at some point, he and Amber are driving to the airport to pick up like his two kids, Brooklyn and Andrew. And on the way, Matt's like, let's call, you know, Chris again. And Amber was like trying to save this man the embarrassment. Like, listen, dude, your son does not like you. He's not here for you. He's not gonna pick up. And she's tried to be like, you know what, Matt, babe, like I called him a little bit earlier. He might not pick up. But Matt's like, nope, the cameras are on, girl. Call Chris. And of course, Chris sends him to voicemail yet again, and you can just see the wheel spinning in Matt's head on how to, like, you know, on how to turn this around on Chris and make Chris look like the shitty person in their relationship. Amber and Matt make it to the airport after that, and was anyone else surprised that Matt was able to sort of identify his kids at the airport after not seeing them all these years? I feel like he probably did, like, you know, a lot of Twitter creeping, like creeping on the MTV Teen Mom girls to land himself a spot on the show really paid off, because he did manage to recognize his kids at the airport. And they all hop in the car and head back home, but the car ride was so awkward. Amber was very like trailer trashy or like kind of ghetto in the car. Like, she just acted really, really odd in my opinion. For example, Matt was talking about potentially letting Brooklyn drive the Corvette, and Amber's like, you're not driving my fucking Corvette. You know, he bought that for me. The license plate says Amber. And Matt was like, no, I bought that for us. See, I called it, you guys. Matt did not buy that car for Amber. Like,
Matt swiped Amber's credit card to get that Corvette for himself, and you're damn right he's gonna walk away with that when he, cashes out of that relationship. And they argue about that in front of the kids. It was very like, her age really showed at that point. And I'm not saying that all people in their 20s, because I'm a person in my 20s and I wouldn't, argue like that, especially not in front of someone's children. Like, that thing just went on too long, and it was just so awkward and gross, and the kids were visibly uncomfortable by it. And Matt was like, you know what, no, I bought that for us. I bought the Cadillac Escalade thing for you. Matt, again, like, what are you swiping? EBT cards? Like, how many Obama phones are you trading in to have enough money to buy people cars when you can't even pay your own fucking rent down in Boston, honey? Please riddle me that. And then just when you think things can't possibly get any weirder, Amber literally allows the city-ass motherfucker and his 2 kids, who Leah doesn't even know, to go pick her up from her dad Gary's house. And like, I just felt like Leah should have been eased into that situation by someone that she knows and trusts. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't just personally thrust my kid into a car with 3 freaking strangers. Hell to the no. But then again, like, it came out in the Teen Mom OG last season reunion that Amber hardly ever sees Leah, so I guess it really made no difference to her. Can I just tell you how big of a glutton Matt is for punishment? Yet again, he tries to call Chris on the phone, and so his son Andrew, like Amber, knows that Chris is not going to pick up for Matt's dusty ass and tries to cover for him on camera. Andrew goes, no, Dad, it's okay, I can call him, trying to help. And then Matt, being as dense as he is like, no, I'll call him. And obviously, he gets sent to voicemail, only for Andrew to try calling Chris, and Chris picks up. And so again, Matt's like, oh, I tried calling you and I got sent to voicemail again. Chris is like, yeah, sorry, I don't know what's up with my phone, man. Like, catch a hint, man. Like, take a damn hit. Matt again tries to invite Chris to the family dinner, and Chris says he's not going to make it because he's going fishing that day. And then Matt's like, okay, what about the next day? Like, are you going to be able to make it? And Chris is like, I don't know, maybe, like, I'll try to come down, but like, we all know that's not happening. Kind of like how Matt raising his busload of kids didn't happen. The family dinner scene comes, it goes really well. Leah really adores Brooklyn, and she also loves Andrew as well, which was good. And the next day, Brooklyn and Amber go out for a little bit of a car ride to talk about common interests, like Beyonce versus Rihanna. And they kind of like laugh about the fact that they're only 7 years apart. Like, imagine being only 7 years older than your stepdaughter. I mean, if I'm going to be only 7 years older than my stepdaughter, then my man better be loaded as hell. You know what I mean? Like, Amber, you are doing this thing all wrong. Meanwhile, Matt takes his clique of boys over to the golfing zone, where he sits down to talk about how all of us reality TV viewers think that people on TV are loaded. We all want a piece of their money. Cough, cough, how ironic. And so he starts throwing his son Chris under the bus for the millionth time this episode, when a producer kind of cuts him off to ask him a question. And this is when we see a glimpse of his crazy rage. He's like, was I not talking? Am I not speaking? Like, he was so rude. You do not speak to, first of all, your boss that way, and second of all, women that way. That was absolutely disgusting. And it's just a little hit at what Amber sees on a regular basis, and it again confirms why I have a soft spot for her in her relationship with Matt. I really do think that she's being heavily manipulated. I don't think she's willingly throwing her money out the window like this and having joint accounts with this fucker. Just look at the way he speaks to women. Disgusting. But the producer, who is now my Shiro, presses on. She's like, you know what, Matt, this is the one son that you're kind of connected to these days, and we're seeing the results of that. Like, we all decided to do this special because people have always said that you don't take responsibility for all the fucked up shit you've done to your kids, and this is your chance to really redeem yourself and take responsibility. Like, do you really not? And so Matt cuts her off. He's like, Chris is an adult. I'm not responsible for his behavior, his arrest, and this and that. It's not my fault. Really, bitch? Really? And the producer presses on. Like, are you really not going to take responsibility? Do you really think that you not being a part of this child's life has nothing to do with the way he turned out? Really be honest with yourself. And so we kind of go to commercial, and he comes back, and he's obviously quite humbled. and he talks to his cousin, what's his cousin's name, I forget, he's kind of decent looking, about Chris yet again, and this time he changes his tune. He's like, you know what, I do sometimes wonder whether or not Chris would have turned out differently had I been present as a father. I was more present in Brooklyn and Andrew's lives, but I was an addict at that time, so I wasn't that great either. So I'm kind of wondering whether or not it's, you know, better to be present as an addict or to just disappear altogether. You know, there's so much I see Chris becoming, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was a really good spiel, but the thing that really grinded my gears about his stupid little, you know, second attempt at a monologue was the fact that he claimed that he finds it difficult to not take responsibility for Chris. What are you talking about? The producer just cut you off as you were claiming that you're not responsible for any of the mess that Chris has become, okay? And this whole entire special, you've been acting like he is like the kid from hell when he is just a kid who is mad and frustrated and upset that he never had a dad in his life, and the only time that his dad wants to speak with him is now that there are camera crews involved. Now, on the last day of Brooklyn and Andrew's visit, Matt takes him over to the car dealership where he plans to buy Brooklyn a car with Amber's money. He really is doing all that he can to buy their love with Amber's money. And honestly, what I have to wonder at this point is, Amber, do you not see the way you are setting this guy up and his family with money? Like, and it's rumored that you're paying off the child support for like, what, 8 of his kids or something like that? I really hope you're taking care of your family even half as well as you're taking care of this deadbeat. So anyway, Brooklyn and Andrew try out a few cars before settling on one, and so Matt's like, wrap it up, I'll pick it up tomorrow. And then they all return back over to Amber's place where they sit down and have one last, you know, heart-to-heart family talk. Amber says, I really hope this special shows people that he's not a really bad person. People break up all the time, move across the country, leave their kids behind. It's life. And Matt's kids, who just finished being bought off by him, agree. They go, yeah, you know, totally normal, you know. That check didn't bounce, did it? Nothing wrong with it at all, being abandoned. Yeah, I can't wait to drive my car. And then everyone packs up to take Brooklyn and Andrew to the airport. Amber does not make the trip with them. One of the last lines of this whole entire special was probably, to me, one of the most iconic moments in teen mom history, because we're going to come back and refer to it when shit hits the fan. You know, Brooklyn was so foreshadowing the shit that Amber is about to go through with Matt. And the producers were wonderful to keep it in the episode. As they're leaving, Brooklyn out the window goes, good luck with my dad. And we all know what she means. We all know what she means, you guys. So there you have it, a recap of the Being Matt MTV special. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm so excited to be recapping weekly with you once Teen Mom OG rolls around the corner on the 17th. You know, as usual, I'm really excited to hear what you thought about this episode or this show, this special, whatever. So leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and as usual, we'll chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more. Feel free to share it with your friends as well, and follow me across social media where I do love chatting with you. That's all for now, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.